All right. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 186. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is.
It's your guy Amazes.
How's it going? How you feeling today?
Doing good, man. Chilling, enjoying my time. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I think you're a little low, but that's okay. Maybe just get a little closer. But we got a lot of cool stuff to talk about, a lot of nerdcore stuff to talk about. But I think we probably will start off with the same old news, which is a weak progression into the adventures of Sony, PlayStation, and how they're handling their business as they march along to the end of this generation. I think it's funny that we're literally now kind of counting the generation down, and it's weird because I've kind of I understand we're past the halfway point, but I kind of just feel like for myself I didn't really get a chance to enjoy this generation, and we have
Partly their fault.
Yeah, because
every game takes like 8 years to come out, then you don't really get to enjoy that generation's worth of games. It only feel like it's been like 5.
I know there's a lot of talk about this Xbox system called Project Helix, but I am still, trying to enjoy the Series X. I think the same thing goes with the countdown to the PlayStation 6 and them not having physical media or a disc drive possibly, or just no physical PlayStation 6 games, I guess. I understand that's a thing, but Grand Theft Auto is supposed to come out on PS5 and Series X. I'm trying to just play what's right here, right now. Liza P, I'm still halfway through it on the current system and stuff. Things like that. And I kind of just want to enjoy what we have right now, but it is what it is when it comes to the way the gaming news works. So with that being said, I can announce or just talk about one of the announcements that I think is a little silly, but there was the announcement that PlayStation was adding the warning label onto the box for the systems that starting the next generation, it was going to be no physical media. And that's them really doubling down, because when you print something on a box, you made it permanent, right? I do find it interesting that that's being added to the box. And as we know, the 8K label was taken off of the box. And so that's kind of where we are. I think this, to me, solidifies this being the worst generation to me of all time, because it seems like as we progressed in the generation, we've taken more and more away from the player and made it harder for the player to enjoy the things that they purchase or even just be a part of the culture. Sometimes when people want to go study abroad or move to a new state or something, they're trying to embrace new culture. They're trying to get excited about something new, and they're willing to try anything at that point. And when it comes to a game system in relation to something like that, just the idea of wanting to dive into this ecosystem, they make it harder for people to want to do so. And it's really hard to get excited for some of the games, because even some of their most recent stuff, there's always some tiny bit of negative news attached to it. And it could come down to the price point and stuff. And I was even more annoyed with the Steam machine, because two things: they made it hard where I can't even buy one, and then anybody whose media I try to go look at, the whole half of the argument is always just how much it costs, and it's not really focused on what can the machine do. And it makes it harder for me to enjoy the piece of art in real time. And yeah, that just adds to this generation of it just being like the worst generation to me. But yeah, Sony adding warning labels for all digital media going forward. What are your thoughts on this?
And it does unfortunately solidify it, and I think they're doing this to just try and avoid more lawsuits. Because of somebody who they can argue, even though it's on the news everywhere, they can argue an issue of like buying a PlayStation with the disc drive late 2027, and then all of a sudden 2028, boom, there's no disc, and now it's just like, well, why did I pay money for this version and you're not giving me this product? So that's their way of covering themselves from getting those type of lawsuits, because I guarantee even if there's people who were realizing it, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some people who was like waiting until December 2027 to go buy a PlayStation, so it's on their receipt that they just bought it, and then boom, now it's like they're not releasing anything for it, so then they can try and argue and sue them. So there's probably people planning to do that.
Was your piece of news as far as like Mexico? Did that have to do with lawsuits?
Oh, sure did. So it turns out it's not just Mexico. Mexico got announced, and then it was released at like 4 other locations are also suing. So the United Kingdom, the United States, Netherlands, Mexico, and Portugal are all currently like heavy suing Sony. All of it because of them trying to move to digital. So the United Kingdom is arguing about them operating a near monopoly, which the United Kingdom has been heavily doing that to every company, right? Like they were hold up for Activision as well, being bought because they've been fighting like the monopoly. United States is fighting them on antitrust challenges over digital market exclusivity, which was the big issue when I think that's the argument for the people who are like, whoa, why would you buy on Steam and it's okay, why do you care if PlayStation goes digital? And what people are trying to argue is that it's the exclusivity, that if Sony controls it, it's a monopoly, they own the price, where if you buy on Steam, if you don't want the Steam prices, you could probably get it elsewhere. There's several other places that you can buy it from much cheaper. Mexico is the one I was mentioning that is suing over the pricing structure, the currency practices, because remember I think I mentioned a while ago that they were going to be messing around, and instead of having it as the generic US dollar, they're going to be trying to convert it to the local currency. However, the exchange rate for currencies consistently fluctuates because people make stuff up. I don't really know how all of it works. However, what they're doing is trying to pick a standard price. So they're going to pick the highest one. They'll force them to basically where we're paying $80 for a game, it's going to naturally charge them around $90 to $95 in the equivalency because of the exchange rate that they're following and everything. So they're not doing an exchange rate that makes it 1-to-1 to where it's 80 here and then 80 in pesos there. It's 80 here and then equivalent to $95 there. And again, by making it digital, that's the only place you can get it. So Mexico is also suing for the digital storefront. Portugal, finally, is also suing. Their financial claims of what they're suing for isn't public record. However, they are also targeting the whole fact that they're going digital. So all 5 of these countries, there's probably going to be more, but these are the 5 main ones that are doing it, are all suing because Sony's going digital.
Okay.
So maybe if they don't listen to the people, maybe they'll listen to the government that can restrict their stuff from being bought there.
Well,
right?
we do know.
Okay.
I was just gonna say we do know they do feel the need to respond to their investors right away. Not so much the gaming community, but the investors.
So if they prove to the investors, I think with they're trying to probably use, because these investors to me they're all stupid. So they just see one thing and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. So they're probably showing the pre-order sales for the all digital Grand Theft Auto, and inflating the sales. Like I saw they were posting a thing where they were comparing how much money is spent on physical media versus how much money is spent on digital media, but they didn't break down the digital part into being indie games that are only digital, or DLCs and season passes and all that. They just lumped it together and said, see, people buy digital more than physical. So, and I'm pretty sure it was for the investors. So by seeing these two things, the investors are just like, oh yeah, even if they go digital, enough people are still going to buy. Maybe this will get the investors talking if they're like, well, Mexico can't buy if your game is not in Mexico. Or like if your game is banned from Portugal, then Portugal won't be able to buy it at all. Especially because since it's all digital, and it's tied to a regional PlayStation Network account, they can't use a VPN to switch their location. They can't buy it from overseas via disc and have it brought in. It's just if Portugal goes no, it's now no because they went digital. So it's gonna backfire on them too for that, right? Think about the regional locked games that are only in Japanese and everything. Like there was a few Kamen Rider games that are only in Japanese, and you can buy them from overseas and just play it if you have the disc. Can't do that anymore if your PlayStation Network account is region locked to the US and you try to buy a game from Japan. It's not going to work because it's not released in the US. So, and you can't use a VPN because they want your location to be tied to the US. So you just don't get that game. So if these and I'm sure not all 5 would do it, but if these 5 are even threatening, if any of them are threatening to just be like, well, then you can't sell here, I'm sure their investors will have a different tune.
I just find it funny. Like, we do it too much when it comes to games. Like, I feel like we do it way
just
too
release
much.
The game. It's been simple since the 80s. You just put the game out and people buy it. Why are you complicating things with it? Again, like you said, you're not gonna make this crazy amount of money in this like business. Stop trying to force it, because now you're just making all these like, release the game, release a good working game that everyone can enjoy at a reasonable price and keep it moving like the entertainment that it should be. It's not that difficult. It's all of these, again, extras that are just creeping into the business and ruining it.
So tell me about Marvel Token's PSN requirements.
Yeah, so I don't remember this ever being announced early, and it seems like it wasn't because of how many people are upset by this. That means nobody was prepared for it. But Marvel Token, Fighting Souls came out, right? And everybody was excited to play it, bought it, and right away it was like, yo, you got to make a PSN account to play this. So it turns out it's not an actual just multi-plat game. It is a PSN game, or a PlayStation game that is ported to other stuff as well. So people on Steam are being forced to make a PlayStation Network account again, and they're really mad because it's like, how'd you not learn from Helldivers 2 with doing the same thing? So some people are getting refunds. I saw one dude real quick. He got on there. He was bragging, and he was like, "Can you believe people actually pay for this?" And you know, it has the label that says "product received for free."
Yeah.
And then he explained in the first line, "My wife bought me this." And it was like, I tried playing it, they had like blah 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 and some other issues. It was like, if people actually paid for this, it's like, bruh, you paid for this. Like, your wife bought it day one. Like, that's still your household paid for this. Why are you saying it like it doesn't include you? But yeah, people are real mad that it's requiring a PSN account. Side note though, on a positive, the Deadpool character that they have for the game is real cool, since Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. Like, that's just what his character does. They designed his fighting character as pretty much his entire moveset is movesets from other fighting games. So like, each of his moves is a move from a different fighting character in some other game, and his like ultimate, he's like just does like a variation of moves. Like, he does like this knee attack from one of the characters in Virtual Fighter, and then the spin attack from like Street Fighter, and then like there's a secret move as well where he drops the person off of a cliff like they did in Tekken, and like he does just pretty much the entire moveset is just a love letter to other fighting games. So
that's cool.
A lot of people really like that character, but yeah, they ruined it by forcing all these weird, you know, extra requirement, which you know what they'll do is people buy it on Steam, they're forced to make the account, and then they'll be like, see, also bought digital. All these people got a PSN account to play it. Look, digital's fine. Like they do this fake stuff to inflate numbers.
Well, I do remember Marvel Token being more of like associated with PlayStation, I guess. I kind of had checked out when they did the whole fight stick announcement and then took the fight stick back. It kind of reminded me of how like this is the current state of the generation where they can't get anything right. It was
I forgot that the fight stick was specifically for that. I thought they were just like fight stick. Like
I mean, it is supposed to be it's supposed to be its own fight stick, but it was supposed to launch with this game as a combination where, well, you still bought it separately, but they wanted to market it as like you could play this game with the fight stick. And then randomly was like the fight stick is like being pushed back indefinitely, like right afterwards. And so that was like a thing in itself. Yeah, but speaking of Marvel, it was announced recently that the upcoming Wolverine game will have microtransactions, or I guess in-game purchases is how they're putting it. The game
crazy.
that comes out in September, yes.
So you know how I fought against ever pre-ordering again since I got screwed years ago?
Okay.
I was heavily considering pre-ordering this game, right? Because I knew everybody was going to be jumping to the disc thing, so I was like, oh, let me make sure I get one. And I was heavily considering it. I didn't do it yet, but I was heavily considering it. And then you sent me that, and it's like, that's why I don't do this stuff. Because while I want to play this game, I need to see the extent at which they're going to be doing this store crap. Like,
yeah, man, you gotta buy all the outfits. You don't just get his yellow one.
You won in the argument where when you were like, they're going to make you buy outfits in Spider-Man 2, and I was like, nah, they didn't do that in Spider-Man 1. They're not going to do that
I saw it coming. I saw it coming for sure.
I was wrong. You won that one, and now they're doing it here, and I'm afraid, like, from Spider-Man 2, it was, like, a couple outfits, and they all weren't really that good, but, like, you know, it shouldn't have happened to begin with, but it was, like, a few, which makes me go, are they going to be more brazen here and make it, like, half or all, or put the super, like, cool ones that everyone really wants, which I already knew one of them was locked behind, like, a pre-order thing, or, like, the deluxe, and I knew that was one people would want. It's the X-Force suit that's like black and gray with the eyes, but it's like they lock like the brown and yellow suit and some of the other ones all behind, like you can buy it. It's like you know, some people try to argue it's just cosmetics. It's like, but it should be in the game. I should be able to unlock it and do stuff. One of the suits in Spider-Man 2 that was like really random, but it was unlocked in the game. That's basically the suit I wore the entire time. For Miles, every mission I would like every story mission, I would switch his suit, which was unfortunate because one that I didn't like was the one that got stuck with the really long mission where it turned to cutscenes. I won't spoil what happened, but like you're kind of stuck for a while, and it was like, dang, I kind of wish I was in a different suit here. But like I already switched it. But for Peter, it was that blue suit which we've had footage for before with the white hood. That's what I pretty much wore for the entirety of the game. So while you can argue cosmetics, it should be in the game. The only thing that should have paid for cosmetics, which to me nothing but like free-to-play games, because that's how they get their money. Free-to-play games, I'm a little more it's fine. Not something you paid $70 for, and then you got to pay extra for a costume that just should have been in it.
Nah, I'm gonna do you one better. I think they're gonna treat it like Marvel Avengers. I think they're gonna be like, you like this fatality move he did? Oh, you gotta buy that fatality move. That's what I think is about to happen. I think
the worst part is I want to read the like reviews to make sure, but I already know a lot of the reviews are gonna be muddled, in a good way. Like it's still fight this fight, but it is gonna be muddled with the whole like digital battle. So it's gonna be a little difficult, I think, trying to find people actually saying whether like it's 2 suits, or like, hey, half of the game needs to be bought after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I was one of the people who did want to buy it. I didn't want to pre-order, but I did want to buy it
Again,
relatively
my
day
only thought
one.
for pre-ordering is I thought everyone was gonna go full physical, to where like they weren't gonna have enough to try and force a digital thing. So I was just like, let me make sure I get a copy. Now I'm just like, I'll wait.
I think they would
What
have
is
had
that?
enough of the game, but I do
I
think
got 2 games left. Two
it.
PlayStation games left.
Well, that's the problem. If you keep that mentality, we're gonna fuel their fortress,
Yeah, they've
which
already proven they're gonna do this. So,
I
in my head I was like, I quit. I'm gonna get my last 2, and then we good.
um I think they may have some other things that's in game purchases with it because I think the game initially they had to deal with the leaks of it, and I think they're still trying to find ways to make money off of everything that they can, and this game is going to probably be no different. Which also brings me to my next topic within this, which is Sony. It was talks, and I don't think it was just rumors, but they were mentioning Sony is planning to add ads to their games, very similar to how we were mentioning before. Because I think we at one point mentioned Game Pass was going to do this for like a free tier or something like that.
Yep.
But with PlayStation, there was no mention of there being a free tier. It just mentioned they're going to add uh, ads to the game. I would be surprised if Wolverine might be the first one. It's like, here's all these like
Gaming is
Marvel
over.
movies. We'll see. I mean, that's just, I know that's probably a thought process for them. Because with digital only, then there's like the DRMs and stuff. Because I know people were trying to say um, Switch 2 was like the lesser two evils and stuff. And the game keycard things isn't as bad. The problem is with Switch 2, it forces you to restart the system every time you add a new game to your system, which is another form of a DRM. And I'm pretty sure, because I think I'm going to test this the next time I get another game for the Switch 2, where I'm going to turn the internet off first and see if it allows me to play it. And if it doesn't, then that gives me, all the information that I need. But they're already, on that type of time with those new cartridges. And I think with some of the other games, I think that's what we're going to see is that they're going to force the online mode, even if it is digital. And with that comes the updates of the ads. Whatever new movie is it's going to be just like YouTube. YouTube ads within your video game, basically. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen.
Emulation in older games, like that's where I'm living at this point. Like it's just it gets frustrating. I played some really fun, goofy games this weekend, and in my head I'm just like, this is how it should feel. Like it shouldn't be all this existential dread and everything. I should just have the game and enjoy the game.
I do plan to have more sessions where if I turn my internet off or if I turn the media, social medias and everything off, it's just like it's like turning off such unnecessary noise. You ever have like a moment where if everything's quiet, you all of a sudden start hearing like a ringing in your ear or something like that? Like it's kind of like that, but it's like the ringing is the media, the dumb stuff. But when you turn it off, it's like all of a sudden you have so many more hours in a day, even if you work. And I'm kind of experiencing that. Like my days off seem to be much longer feeling, where I can enjoy more things if I turn the internet off. And I'm about to be on that type of time and just play the emulation stuff. I can still record and broadcast my stuff without the internet if I'm just making a recording. No different than the game here on screen. And just go back in the past and look at a bunch of stuff and just take care of it. Any last news piece you want to add to PlayStation?
No, we've talked about them enough. They don't deserve it.
PlayStation's news is kind of goofy. It's
Does
goofy.
the God of War news count?
That is right. That is in here. Yeah, that does count. We can mention that real quick.
Then I'll bring it up now. So as you know, Ryan Hurst was injured, right? And he was the Kratos. And I remember you were wondering, you were just like, couldn't they just wait? Well, I found out apparently he tore his bicep, and because he's not like a wrestler, it's gonna take time to heal. So he's not gonna be like healed up until like 2027. Apparently, he tore it really bad, right? So that means they would have to just not film until then, and they don't want to do that. So that's why he's getting recasted. Plus, he had only filmed like I think they said 4 episodes, and it doesn't sound like it was full. So it doesn't seem terrible to replace. Right now, the front runner is Batista.
That to me seems silly, actually.
So I think,
no.
in terms of acting chops, I think Batista could pull it off.
No.
He was one of the fan people that people wanted for a while. The thing is he lost a lot of the weight. So he's gotten skinnier because he stopped like heavy. He's still a big dude, but he stopped heavy hitting the gym. And part of the reason he didn't want to play Drax anymore from Guardians of the Galaxy, he specifically said he was sick of always being shirtless, like throughout the whole movie, and having to keep that heavy, big physique up. And Kratos is shirtless, so I know he's the front runner, but there was nothing like heavily announced. It's just like it seems like the insider knowledge of what people know, but I don't know because of that part. Like he could probably bulk up again. That's no issue. I just feel like it's like I thought he was adamant about not wanting.
Kratos needs to be an unknown actor. It needs to be somebody who's younger.
They're not gonna do that.
I mean, they did that with Last of Us. We didn't know any of them people. They was going off of some of them being voice actors.
They knew Pedro Pascal. That was supposed to be what carried them, and the girls in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, the girl, I think she was more known after the fact.
Yeah,
Pedro is.
He was the reason why they thought this is the reason why people were going to view it. There was no way they were going to just use a brand new actor. They don't trust that.
But they need somebody who's healthy. First of all, I can go there. You need somebody who's actually healthy.
Is Batista not healthy?
No, he's not.
What makes you say
No,
that?
he's not healthy. He do not look healthy at all. He also
Fine.
He on the Wesley Snipes healthy. No disrespect. That's the healthy that he on right now. That's so no. No. He on the
But I just don't think he wants to bulk up again. But I think he can pull it off.
Nah, I ain't trying to be disrespectful. They out here looking like a certain the last ride of Black Panther, basically. Anyways, we could probably move forward. I just think it should be the younger, regular built
I've been
dude.
hearing people saying young. However, I thought they were trying to go older because they're going straight into 2018.
Yeah, but even really, it just needs to be a grown man. That's all. It could be a grown man that's got some size on him, but I'm talking like somebody who healthy grown man. Like Game of Thrones had Mountain, right? Mountain was a grown man. He was just a big dude, but the dude was clearly not a sickly looking dude. Like they need somebody who don't look like he's sick or don't look like he passed his prime. Batista absolutely is past his prime. He just is. It is what it is. And I just think that they need to have somebody who's in their prime. Kratos, in the game, he was past his prime, but he didn't drop weight. He wasn't like they're getting these guys while they're like actually older and in pain. Like that's who they get. Like no.
Now, where I do agree with you for the whole thing and why, I guess they should probably go younger. Is I always think like, how many seasons do you want out of this thing? Especially considering they take their time with filming, and like Ryan Hurst was 50.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure Batista's around there too. So it's just like
Batista is past 50.
You're not gonna get a season 2 or 3 for sure with this. Like we're not gonna have a bulked out 65-year-old filming.
But I mean, like, it just need like a grown man who got a beard and he bald, but he not sickly looking is easier to find. I don't believe that is not hard to find.
I don't know
Is
why they don't want to, but they
somebody
might still.
who body builds and stuff who's naturally at that spot, or you don't gotta wait for him to, because as much as you gotta wait for the dude to fix his leg, you gotta wait for Batista to bulk up. That don't just happen overnight. That's like when you lose muscle, muscle goes. You have
Yeah.
to like really be back at working out again, back at eating too much that you don't want to eat like that. Because I think Wolverine, the actor, and then the guy who played Captain America was the same way. It was like we have to really bulk up for those roles. It's like you don't just grab somebody off the street to do that. Like have somebody who is naturally doing that. That's not hard to find. You can go right in the UFC and find somebody who's naturally doing that. Who's actively in it, like not somebody who it's like they go get the Undertaker right now, like you go play Freddy Krueger or something. Like no, bro, no. Undertaker in 2008, 2004, not no 2022, 26. i'm
Yeah.
just i'm
You
just
know who
saying.
has like the physical build but not the face for it? Alan Richardson, the guy who's currently playing Reacher. Like
uh,
he has the absolute build for Kratos, and he would fit exactly what you're describing. The only issue is I don't think he has the face. Like I don't think his face, even if he went bald, would look
mm-hmm.
nothing like Kratos. Like it would look like a very bad cosplayer Kratos. I think that's part of the issue. But physique-wise, he has it. He could do it. Too bad Kratos don't wear a mask.
Yeah. All right, before this footage just goes away completely, this is Power Rangers Super Legends all the way back on the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. Or that's where you can find it, and GameCube, I believe. I did wanted to mention a little bit of some Power Ranger news real quick. I know that derails things from gaming. But it'll be quick because I think it's pretty cool. But I think there's a resurgence, funny enough, in Power Ranger content when it comes to those new toys and stuff that's coming out. It is still mediocre compared to some of the versions that they've had in the past. But more and more people are gravitating towards this season 2 more than I would have thought. And I think part of the reason is because this stuff is way more affordable and in the stores. And there goes the Power Ranger footage altogether.
That's awesome.
But
This is PlayStation footage.
yeah, and it goes hand in hand, because some of this stuff, it tells a bigger story because this stuff is supposed to be made more for children than it is adults. It's more obviously is way more adults trying to get this than it is kids. But long story short, not PlayStation. Power Rangers had a partnership with Hasbro for a long time. Hasbro handled the franchise very horribly. They had everything that they need and just did not put anything out on time. But Playmates is now the new partner with the Power Ranger franchise, and they are doing the exact opposite. It's like, well, they are sacrificing some of the quality, but they're doubling up on, I guess, quantity or whatever. They're getting the stuff out fast. You don't have to wait like forever to get this stuff. And one of the things I think I had mentioned before was that I had bought the Morpher. The Morpher was just sitting in the store forever and it's still there. But it was like a $15, $16 Morpher. And at that point I was just like, you know what? I'm in here. I keep walking by it. I see it. I see a bunch of other stuff. I'm gonna just get it because I have the money. And I think they're suckering in a lot of new buyers and stuff into this for that same reason. But I have the Morpher. It's very cheap. I just recently ordered the Dragon Dagger, which is also cheap. I think that was like $17. The sole reason is because it came with the Green Ranger's coin that you would add to this Morpher. And I plan to get the White Ranger Saba when it comes out. Also because it has the White Ranger coin. I just like completely committed to the coins because they were like available in these packages. But I'm not breaking the bank to get this stuff. All of these things are under $20. And I just think it's phenomenal that they kept the price point like that. Um for the people to get this stuff. But they've announced their season 2 material online recently, and I thought it was going to come to the US last. It was coming to the UK first, but it's actually quickly starting to be released in the US, just as quickly as it was released in the UK. I think it was only like a month off, but now you can buy some of the Zords. The Zords are starting to pop up. There's 6 in total, obviously, but they're starting the price around these things at like $18.99 and $19.99 each. Now, yes, it's still one of those things where you got to buy the whole set or buy them all piece by piece to get the whole set, basically. But at the same time, they're making it ready and available, and they're not taking away season 1's stuff. So the season 1's Megazords were at first close to $30 each. They've now changed those prices to match the Thunder Zords. So the Dino Zords are $20 each, and they're still ready and available for whoever wants them. I still don't think that they're as good as obviously some of the older versions that had came out, the stylized versions that are a little bit more expensive. But my whole thing is that it's available and these things are in the stores, and that's the key thing that stands out for me. Now I think in the US the Blue Ranger Thunder Zord, the Yellow Ranger Thunder Zord, and the Pink Ranger Thunder Sword are all starting to become available at just under $20 each. The red and white one and the black one, I believe, will probably be available next week or the week after, because they're kind of just coming up fast. White Ranger's Flip Head, Automorphin Flip Head is now available. I was able to grab that. They've changed the price to all of them to make them exactly $10, where before I think they were like $13.99 and stuff. So it's like they settled on the prices on those, and made it more available. And I don't plan to take any of them out the packet. I just kind of got them just for the culture. They don't look as good as the originals, but it's like they're just there, right? But they managed to get money out of me simply because they were available in my face. And I think that's been like an ongoing thing for a while. Like a lot of gaming stuff, a lot of old figures and stuff is not available and way overpriced. And the difference being when you change that around, make things reasonable and make them available, all of a sudden sales are surging. When I was looking online for the Thunder Zords and stuff for research and stuff, I was seeing that like as soon as they was making it available, hundreds of them were being bought by the hour. And I was like, yo, like the fans are out here doing this. And I was looking at some of the forums and stuff, and there were people who really went out their way to try to get those Thunder Zords as soon as they was available, because they were available in certain states, but not every state yet. Like my state is not technically available everywhere yet, but people were literally choosing like Walmart, for example, because that's one of the carriers. Like they were choosing Walmarts that were in states that were like next door to their state and driving over an hour just to go and get them for pickup, and was like writing a bunch of stories about how this is like a big deal, reminding them of their childhood and stuff. And I'm like, yo, I didn't think people would care as much for the Playmate stuff this time around as they would like the Lightning collection or the Legacy collection, because it don't look as good. But it looked like that's not the case here. People are really gravitating towards it. And I'm excited about it because with them getting the type of sales that they're getting and the reaction that they're getting, that lets me know that they are going to keep it going. You're probably going to see the movie stuff, the ninja stuff, probably even Zio. Because season 1, it was hard for them to come off the ground a little bit. Season 2 is a smash hit. I don't know why. That Thunder Sword, it looks
like the Thunder Sword.
Yeah, it looks a little goofy with the helmet still. The helmet is still the same, but they have like worked on the rest of it. It's around the same size as the original Megazord. It's not oversized like the Dinosaur was. Like in the original, the Thunderzord was actually taller than the Dino Megazord. But now it's the opposite because the Dino Megazords they made him just a little too big. But this one is more in line with the regular Megazords that you probably have from the past. And there's a lot of people who are taking like pictures of the original Thunder Megazord with the Legacy one and the new one. And they're all like very similar with, clear differences because of they were made by different companies. But I think it's dope. I just think it's dope. I got the Morpher here in my hand. It's it's more of a fidget kind of thing for me. It's actually smaller than the Master Morpher and some of the other ones, but it's like it was $16, bro. Like 16.
We need dinosaur power now.
Right? $16. And I get this, and that, like as an adult, it really don't break the bank at all. But for a child, it's funny because I don't think any kids are really into this at all right now. But this stuff outside of the Megazord is a little bit more arguable, and like not really affordable. But the rest of the stuff, a kid can work towards little by little, right? You get $10, you get the next flip head, and it's still available, right? After 5 or 6 weeks, you've got them all or whatever, or however long it take you to get that wheelchair allowance or something like that. The Morpher is another one. And it's not like if you didn't get it right here and right now, it's sold out because of a bot or something and it's not available. Even if you did buy it for another year or anything stupid like that, it's like, no, they came out with a product and put them in the stores, made them available online with no bots and stuff, and people are able to get everything that they need as they become available, and the thing is selling. And what's cool about it is it's selling, and it's still it's not that it's selling out, it's still available. That's the part that really stands out for me. Because something like the Steam Machine, like if you go back to the Steam Machine's original posts, when they first announced it on Twitter or X, it had like over 22 million views, right? And it's like, 22 million views almost immediately, and you're sold out and you're only able to sell like 30,000 a month or something stupid like that. Like how can a company not make their product that available? How did it come to that? And just so you could try to say, oh, it's something that's rare, like that, like really, and then nobody buys it, nobody can buy it. And if somebody got $1,000 to spend, they're not going to just wait all day. They're going to start spending it elsewhere. And yeah, that's what I wanted to mention on this. Really, I mean, it's not too much more to talk about. Just the only other thing I want to say, if you are in the market for the Megazords and stuff, there's a special key term that you do need to search, which is, funny enough, combinable. If you search combinable, it's actually going to come up right away under Amazon and under Walmart. That's the main places that I search. I think Target might have them too, but really Walmart and Amazon is going to be the most available. Combinable Zord or combinable Megazord, combinable Dinosaur, and then they'll all come up. Or you can say Automorphin Reignition, and then that'll come up for all the new Automorphin figures. And then the Morpher would just kind of come up with it if you search it that way. But it don't matter if it's the Morpher or the figures or the Megazord pieces, like and the weapons, and I think even the mask. Like they got masks too. Any piece of product that they've come out with this, each piece is $20 or less, and is ready and available, and you can walk right into the store and get it, or you can go right online and get it, and it'll be sent to you. Walmart is very good with sending things the same day, which is incredible. Well, for me, because I have a Walmart that's not too far from me, so maybe they have a driver that can just send it. But yeah. Any thoughts on this? Any thoughts on the difference of having something ready and available? Anything you want to mention to this at all?
So the fact that it's available is fantastic, right? Stop trying to create some fake like look
scarcity and all that.
Yeah, scarcity where it's just like, oh, look how wanted it is that we keep running out. Look how wanted it is and make it so people can get it. Like, that's how you make your money, is people getting it. And it's always lovely to see Power Rangers get its resurgence. Because, you know, big fan of the thing. It was very sad to see it go. I mean, yeah, it made it 30 years, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But sad to, like, see that part end. Excited to see what's going to happen with, like, whatever reboot they're apparently planning. Was sad to hear the other reboot stuff or whatever Entwistle was trying to do through Netflix with the giant universe didn't go through. Comics are still doing okay. It's always good to see, you know, Power Rangers continue.
Now, I am still holding out for the Thunder Megazord. That's the Flame Toys version. That's like really, really like super samurai, you know, anime style one. That's the one that I want. I did pre-order mine, but it doesn't come out till October. But I'm just still excited about the other Thunder Megazord and the rest of the Zords. Now, I do still have a bone to pick with them about their you know situation when it comes to Dragon Zord, because they were still saying like, oh, it's probably going to be a Kickstarter and blah blah blah. So unfortunately, within that Megazord, they're not completing the set like that. But with the rest of them for Thunder Megazord, it looks like they are. I honestly think they got to take that feedback and say, oh, because we really made this season more available, it's probably going to be the same type of reaction we would get if we do the same thing when it comes to season 3. And, you know, season 1 stuff, I don't want to say it struggled to come out the gate, but I don't think as many people was jumping on it. Season 2 though, it seemed like everybody was jumping on it from what I can see. So that lets me know they gotta have a season 3. And I would be excited to see it. I ain't gonna hold you up if they decide to make 2 versions of the Ninja Zords, where the other one is like the movie version. Like I might hop on that movie version for sure. If they remake the Shogun Zords, I might hop on that too. Because I was a big fan of the Shogun ones. Because they just looked really cool. But yeah, I'm just excited about at least them having some success in one area. Usually when they do, that allows somebody to say, well, what happens if we cross sell and we jump into a different franchise, which I'm hoping, like, you know, the video game franchise, you jump back in there. The movie franchise might be a little bit easier than the video game at this point, especially in today's climate. But these things are only possible when the community comes together and they actually purchase the other things. But seeing that, you know, even with the Megazord, some of these things were doing like 100 sales per hour. Maybe that don't sound like it's too much, but it's kind of a lot to me when you're very, like, as soon as you put it out there, you got people just really just going out of their way. I don't think I would have been like, oh, let me drive 2 states over or something to get it. It ain't that big of a deal to me. But as it becomes available, it's like, okay, you know, I can participate if I want to. The only other thing I could say is, you know, support the brand, be a part of it in some way. I'm not telling everybody to go out there and just buy everything just because it's cheap. but you know, buy one or two things. Just because even if it's just like one of the flip heads for $10, support this brand right now because they're doing it in a way that other brands could really like pay attention to and be like, oh, maybe if we put our stuff in the store and make it available, we can get the sales that we were supposed to get. Like, it's like if you have a dumb moment, like light bulb come off your head. If other companies can see that and say, oh, there might be a smart idea to try to not make it scarce and make it available, that maybe we'll get a bunch of people to buy it. It's like, yeah, make it available, make it affordable, and a bunch of people will buy it. That it makes a lot of sense. But if you come out with like Lord Draken, for example, when they did Lord Draken, he was sold out almost immediately. Estimated time of arrival was like 6 to 8 months and stuff like that. And then there was the whole like controversy where some of the pre-orders was getting canceled and some people was getting double copies somehow and other people weren't even getting a copy. And it was like, when you have situations like that, you hurt the brand. You hurt your own company's brand as the carrier. And I don't think we should have that. With Power Rangers, they haven't really done anything with the carrier Zords, but I'm not as interested in Zeo. But if they do another pair of Mimus, it make me excited when I see some of that stuff. It's like, oh man, if they do one that I really like, it's like, man, I might actually break the bank. And then at the same time, it's not even breaking the bank. Like they'll just come out with the figure. The Thunder Zord was handled the same way as the regular Megazord. So if you wanted a non-combinable one where it was just all ready put together and you can't take it apart, they do have that version as well. I had bought the dinosaur version of it for my boss's boss last year around Christmas time. And I think this one is going to come out around this time. They still got like their little Funko Pop versions as well. They got a bunch of stuff over there. But the key thing is that it's in the store. All right, I ran along with that. Any last words on the Power Ranger stuff?
Go Power Rangers.
All right, I want to take a couple seconds to go with our unofficial sponsor, which is Epic Games, and talk about some of the titles that they release for free every week. Can't really complain when it's free. You know, it's free, right? I wouldn't be surprised if one day Epic comes out with their own ads in the game. Could you be mad if they came out with ads in their games? I mean, it's free. I don't know. Maybe. But,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can. I told you this sets a bad precedent. It starts in free and then moves its way to non-free. It needs to be out of here.
All right. Available right now from right now to the 13th of this month. They have a game called Beacon Pines. I don't know too much about it. Go take a look. That's Beacon Pines. And then also a game called We Were Here Together. When I went to it, it said it was already in my library, so they may have been double dipping here. But We Were Here Together and Beacon Pines are both available from now to the 13th. From there, they have Caravan Sandwich, witch as in a wicked witch. I guess they were kind of playing on words here, but that's available from the 13th to the 20th. Just one title. I don't know too much about this, but maybe it's interesting. But Caravan and then Sand and then Witch. That's the name of that from the 13th to the 20th. That is Epic Games. Did you have anything as far as Amazon that you wanted to mention?
Yes, and give me a second because I forgot to pull it up. But they announced their games for August. I was about to ask what month was it. All right, so the Amazon games. We have Tell Me Why.
Ain't that a song?
Yeah. Looks like it's covering all the games. Let's ask for Prime and show me everything. Yeah, completely forgot to bring this up. But stalling. All right. Oh, Write and Down is what it was called. It's like a card game. And then Hive Swipe Friend Sim.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they show me the first two? Jeez. This should not be this difficult. I swear when you look at what are their free games for August, everybody does like a weird, like.
Well, why you doing that? As far as the news, what did you want to mention as far as Cinder City's RAM requirement?
Yeah. So, Cinder City
Mm-hmm.
is free to play, or not free to play, but it's a mass multiplayer online game, and it's a shooter, mass multiplayer online shooter. And when it first got posted, it said the RAM requirements was minimum 64 gigs. And everybody was like, "Excuse me," and like,
Yeah, no
"What do you mean
potatoes.
64 gigs?"
No
And then
potatoes
they said,
allowed.
"Our bad. That's a typo," and they fixed it. It is now 32 gigs. It wasn't supposed to say 64. It was the minimum was 32, which is crazy because a lot of people have 8 gigs, and the high-end ones usually have 16 gigs. And
Mm-hmm.
their game requires at minimum 32 gigs.
A lot of the new ones do. I remember they said that with PlayStation's Spider-Man 2018 when it went over, and that was the 2018 version of the game. That one minimum needed to have 32 gigs of RAM, if I remember correctly. I remember people kind of complaining about that one. It was a couple games where I think it was a game where you needed to have a 30 or 300 or 3000 series graphics card or higher, I think is what they mentioned. And it kind of exposed a lot of people didn't have that for a game. So I think going forward, there's a lot of them where it's instead of like really trying to optimize, developers are going for just brute force, like letting the people who have the hardware brute force through the game, instead of optimizing through each and every nook and cranny of the game. And that's when we have the situations we have on PC right now when it comes to this. The Steam machine is kind of the same way. It's like I've been seeing people show off like how the game could play AAA titles, and there's a lot of titles where it's not in the 60 FPS range like people would have thought. It's more in the 40 FPS range, almost just like the Steam Deck, ironically enough. And that's at like 1440p or something. Forget about it for 4K, and sometimes it can't even hold 30 frames at 4K. I do find it funny because that's where our machineries are right now. It seems like you just can't get past 1080p being the standard resolution. And now we've resulted to a lot of upscaling techniques off of 1080p instead of giving you a native resolution higher than 1080p. But that's where we're at, and then they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for that.
Okay, so I figured out the issue. They decided not to post a list for the
Mm-hmm.
full month. So they're keeping it a secret. So right now we only have the 2 announced, which was the 2 that I had just mentioned. The up and down, and then the friend sim, whatever game, which some people are complaining about because they're like, we used to get Wolfenstein, the New Order, and now we're getting Friend Simulator. But whatever reason, yeah, this is the first time. No wonder I was having trouble with it. They decided not to announce the list. They won't post it, and the page that usually posts it is given a 404. So they're keeping it a secret. Some people are making jokes saying, surprise, that is the list. It's just these 2. Yeah, Hive, Swamp, Friend Sim, and Up and Down are the current ones. And it sounds like they're just switching it up each week, which, as always, because I called out Epic for this, I think when they do the surprise is you'll find out on the day of. That just means they actually don't know what it is. They didn't pre-plan the month. Because even for last month, during the last days, they were just like, here's another game, like randomly. So it seems like, yeah, they don't know.
How long do you think it take them on the back end to try to like work with a company to release that way there?
I thought it would be in advance because I thought they were like prepaying them for something, like in a way. Like I thought it was like, I don't know how that stuff worked. I always just assumed it was like, we could get your like more eyes on your game by making it free, and here's like a standard like fee for us doing that. So it's either people, you say yes or no, right? And if you agree to it, then your game is given free for the week, but you got like some money. That's how I assumed it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
that might have been a situation now too though, because you're looking at one game being the next week's game instead of two. I do think that when it's one instead of two, that's probably a reason why, because they had to or didn't make a deal or something was delayed, so they'll make it like one game this week versus two.
Correct. It says Epic Games. I mainly looked up for Epic, so I'm sure Prime does the same thing. But Epic Games gives away free games by paying the developers a flat fee up front instead of paying per download, using Fortnite as the investment.
Hey, shout out to the Fortnite player, because the Fortnite player been buying them bad boys for me for a while. I have not been playing Fortnite myself. I have not been playing it at all. But the Fortnite player has not slowed down, because they have to pay those flat fees for a bunch of games when they do that Christmas thing.
Yeah.
And that can't be cheap. You doing like a whole few months worth all in one go. Like 3 or 4 months in one go. And so if they're able to do that, I mean, that's all because of, you know, Fortnite. And hey, hats off to them, man. Thank you. I appreciate everybody in that game and and at this point, I remember there was a game or a fan-made fighting game called Mugen on PC, and it was really like an engine, and then you just add like every game franchise that you would want, and you knew it could never exist because of all these licensing issues.
Oh yeah.
Fortnite is like literally like the game for this generation, for these kids basically, where they've taken that limitation and took it right out the window. You can have a skin for anything now. Like, it don't matter. It's like Funko Pops in a game or something. Like, anybody can be fighting anybody. All those fantasy matchups and stuff. I mean, it's still the building and the shooting and stuff, but it's still
necessarily the building. There's game modes where there's no building, just shooting. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, depending on how you want to play it. Yeah, there are a lot of people who don't prefer the building anymore. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can like literally do all of that, and they can front the money over for the licensing, where there's so many games in real life that people want to get ported over, and you can't get it ported because of licensing issues and stuff, and it's silly. So shout out to them for making the real money where they're able to make things happen. All right, so we had a bunch of gaming directs and showcases that came out. One of the first ones I kind of wanted to just mention real quick was the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave direct, which I still think is a funny name. Did you see this?
I did.
All right, man. Tell us about why you want to pre-order this game.
So I don't want to pre-order the game. However, I am very surprised I've never gotten into the Fire Emblem series, and I think I really need to, because it is my style of game. Your turn-based combat, very story and lore heavy, with games that are only slightly connected, so you can play whichever ones you want. But you know, there's still like an overarching like little theme to them. I'm very surprised I haven't gotten into them, but I will soon when I stop buying future games and go backlog. I'll go start playing those. But It looked good. Like, it looked like Fire Emblem. I can't add too much because since I've never gotten to the game, I don't know the full lore, so I can't really be like, here's the step up from the previous one, or things like that, but it just overall looked good.
Yeah, most of those titles are turn-based. This one is like a tactical strategy type turn-based game. It looked dope, but it's not like the type of game is like strategy and turn-based. I'm kind of hot and cold on it. Like if I'm into the franchise as a franchise, it will sink me into it. Pokemon has always been that exception where I didn't touch the turn-based until Pokemon really early on. And then later years was this game here, Clear Obscure, Expedition 33. As far as just turn-based, but strategy I'm not really too much into. I'm open to it. I think this franchise does have some history with Nintendo. It goes all the way back. They got plenty of Fire Emblem games to play. I have a couple Fire Emblem games that I got whenever there was a sale. So I'm gonna probably play that, and then if I'm really into it, I'll jump into this one. But yeah, this one was, or this direct was done like earlier in the week, and the game itself comes out September 17th, 2026. And so yeah, I don't have too much more else to say about it, but I do want to mention real quick as I'm thinking about the dates. And I think I had wanted to mention it in the free games and news section, but it was funny when I looked at it online because the gaming universe right now to me is like really desperate for money, and they're really trying to do whatever they can to get the money. And one of the things we had kept mentioning in the past was that everybody's trying to not have a game out around Grand Theft Auto 6, right? And Grand Theft Auto 6 is basically about to disrupt the whole industry, right? And we kind of already know that, but like normally I would look at the new games that's coming out every month and I would try to mention it here, but I decided to like look into it in November when that game is supposed to come out. It was funny enough, there's literally no other new games that's actually coming out in November, which I thought was like crazy.
Wasn't there only two? It was Grand Theft Auto and two more that were like, one was like a super indie game. That like, it was like anyone who's a fan of that is probably not a fan of Grand Theft Auto, and the other one was like, I don't know, something else that was also around that edge where it'll be like these are so completely different that like they can't be like, oh, we didn't make money because of Grand Theft Auto. Like no one was gonna be buying both. Or I think one was a remake. That's what it was. One was a remake and one was some super indie game. But that was it. Everything else is
So on the list that I saw, it was one other title, and it was actually Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, which was a GameCube game that was just recently announced to yeah, that one was announced to be coming to the newer platforms, I guess, as like a remaster kind of thing. I don't know if it's too much more new content with it, but yeah, that one is sitting right next to GTA on their like official releases for the month, and it's just like nothing else. And if you go back to any of the other previous months, it's like, oh, here's like almost 20 titles that's coming out, and they're like nothing around GTA. It just seems so funny to me because it's like
it was the one that was announced was the Gothic 3 Classic. So it was a remake of Gothic, and then Grand Theft Auto, and then the other one was called like Wielders of the Essence was the one. But then apparently also, yeah, Godzilla, Crime Light. I don't know what that is. Barbie Rewind, and Switch 2 is getting Metaphor ReFantasia. That's it.
Yeah, December is similar. Like December, it was like 2 titles there. I think one of them was Dragon Quest. I can't even think of the other one. And it was just like people really don't want their titles to come out with GTA. It's like, for me, like, Yeah, I would buy GTA, but who says I wouldn't buy another title? And
Yeah.
even with like some of the other months, October was always a big month where there's too much going on. It's just funny how like they'll sit there and be like, well, maybe I can compete with any of these other titles. Some of those titles be really small too, and the boldness of them to come out with
So
some of those bigger ones, but nobody's trying to compete with GTA.
my thing is this: I can understand maybe not releasing a like RPG crime, so like if like Sleeping Dogs was new, maybe not release that, or like that game Samson that came out earlier. Like maybe don't release that around Grand Theft Auto because that like it's the same thing. It was the whole issue when like old days when I think it was Battlefield released like right around Call of Duty and just got like wiped out, or something else got released around Battlefield. That was also Titanfall. Titanfall 2, a shooter got released around Battlefield time, like within like a week. So it just got completely overshadowed and shot because it's the same thing. But I feel like I don't think anything should be like, oh, we can't release, I don't know, for example, Pokemon because Grand Theft Auto. It's like those are completely different. Like I feel like if your game is that drastically different, then like they should disrupt it.
They
Like
don't
it'll
want
be
to take
it'll
no
be
chances.
weird.
Don't
I
nobody
feel
want
like
to take
that's
no
weird.
chances. The
And there
funny
are
thing,
certain games where it's like, it's like, oh, a lot of people play Call of Duty and 2K. So maybe don't release Call of Duty and 2K in the same month because there is for sure like crossover in that like fan base. But I feel like there's certain things where it's like there's no crossover. Like I don't think anyone's like I would have gotten Gothic 3, but I can't because I spent all my money on Grand Theft Auto. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of crossover sometimes with some of the other fan bases. I don't know. It's just weird.
yeah, with GTA, it's not even that. GTA is gonna make people quit jobs. That's the difference. I don't know any other game. If I was to go to any other month and look at any of those titles, I don't think anybody's really quitting their job to play that. They might take a day off, but they're not gonna quit their job. Like GTA is about to make people quit literally and move back in with parents.
You don't think people's about to quit their job for Fable?
No,
Man,
no,
you up out of here.
not Fable.
Yeah, they gonna quit their
Fable,
job for
even
Fable.
especially if they keep putting ugly chicks in the game or whatever they did with the girl with the nose or stuff. It's like, well, you done ran off of whatever fan base you had. But I think GTA is an anomaly in itself. But some of the other titles, the bad part about it in real life is even when the games do good, and we've seen this, the people still get fired anyway. That's the so it's like if you was gonna do good and get fired, then maybe staying away from GTA might be a better story for you because if you could squeeze a sale out, that's great. But if you're in a position where you can't get a sale at all, I mean, and you already know you're about to get fired, it's like maybe I shouldn't be next to GTA. I don't know, but that sucks so bad to say, but it is what it is. That's the real life.
It is what it is.
Ghost Recon 25th Anniversary Edition
Yeah.
showcase. What's the word on this?
All right. So Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Wildlands. Recon Breakpoint. The second one is getting like 2 new story missions, and they're bringing back the Predator mode. So there was like a whole thing where your 4 squad is being hunted in the woods by the Predator, and you got to try and survive. And it was like overly difficult. But like, I didn't realize the game was still getting supported. I thought that was been done, but apparently it is supported. And they were like, "Thank you to our whatever big number of players." So like, it is still going like in. And they decided they're releasing. It was a game called like Ghost Recon Future Soldier or something like that. It seems like one of those half-baked like Miles Morales size games, but they're like it's for free on Ubisoft Connect if you want to go grab it there. And then also Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breakpoint, I think they said it's like 90% off on like Steam.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and jump in now. Which is cool. I played through both, but I might actually pick them up to replay through because I don't have them on PC. And they're games that I sometimes like to just like, you know what, I'm in the mood, let's run this like thing back. And I thought Wildlands had a fantastic story. I I really like that one. Breakpoint was also good. And then they announced they're doing some like news thing where it's like, your fan club be in the know, and it's like I don't think y'all are releasing that much information to justify this, but hey, do you think?
I think the only thing that has stood out to me was at some point, I think they mentioned one of the main games was, they said, we've listened to the fans and they were bringing 60 FPS to one of the main games. And,
that's it. Yeah, for Breakpoint, it was 60 FPS, 2 new maps, and the Predator mode is back.
Yeah, I was like, I know they're probably not talking about PC too much, but it was like 60 FPS. You would have thought they had that on there, but maybe not, I guess. But that was the only thing.
Do mean console, because the games I want to say were PS4. At least one of them for sure. I think both. So I think they were locked at 30. And then when they got ported over, it wasn't like a PS5 version. So I think they were still like 30. So they might be upgrading it for the console. But I don't know. I think the PC one might have also, like natively been put at 30, and then people just did they work to bring it to 60, but official.
All right. So I don't have too much else to add to that show. But I think the last thing that was on the list was the THQ Nordic Digital Showcase 2026.
Yeah.
Which was more of a showcase where they had a few different things going on. Any thoughts you wanted to mention on this show?
Yeah, there was one game I liked, one game I thought you would probably like, and then, funny enough, people being upset, which I can see why. So the game that I thought was good, it was Titan Quest 2. It looks like that's getting updates with like a new class and everything, but it looks like my style of game. It just looks like Diablo, essentially.
Yeah. So
that'll look cool. The one that also looked good, but I think it's more your style of game, it was called The Eternal Life of Goldman. It's like a side scroller, like one of those platformers, like with the hack and slash stuff that looks like has some cool boss fights in it. And you're like some like old man, like I don't know, running through some like mythological stuff, it seems. So that looked pretty cool. Now everybody in the comments was real upset though, because there was 2 things that they felt was missing from this, and it was like, what was the point of doing the show if you had no news on these 2 things? One of which being Darksiders 4, because like you announced that there's going to be new Darksiders, and then you had 0 information about it. So now people are convinced that it's just like in development hell, and like who knows if it'll even come out. Because there was just like 0 news on it, not even a reminder.
How long ago did they show the teaser though? Was it that long ago?
It feels like it was. I think it was like in February.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Too long ago. But I'm still in the camp though of, don't show something until it's basically finished. Yeah. I'm in that camp, so I can understand. Because I remember they did a teaser, and it's like that game could be long far away,
Oh no, this was last year. It was August 1st, 2025 is when it was announced. So I think that's why people thought like it's been a full year since this announcement. Which I think that's the whole thing. It's don't announce it until, like, don't tease it until you're relatively close. I think teasing something a year away, I'd hate that, but it's fine. But if you just started it and you teased it, now you have nothing to show for like 2-3 years. That's messed up. So people were upset with that, and people are upset that there was nothing about like a Remnant 3.
Oh. I would like them to like take their time.
Yeah, but like they were upset that it's like they didn't even like, it's just they felt like the 2 big THQ games is the announced Darksiders and then currently Remnant, and they did a whole show without showing anything at all or even a mention of these 2, so people were kind of upset. Again, I agree with you, don't announce it if it ain't like anywhere near some sort of even ready, right? But then it's just like, well, then I think people were more like, if you didn't have anything to show for these 2, why do a show? Is how they felt.
Well, I mean, if they had some other stuff, maybe they could, come out and show it if it's ready.
A few things. It was okay. Like they have like a tank game that looked okay, like a war game where you're tanked. Wreckfest, I believe it's called, is getting another one, or it was like a rally game where you're crashing out of the car.
Yeah, Wreckfest 2 is one of them. Wreckfest 2 I did see. Wreckfest 2 was previously announced beforehand. I think Reanimal the Prisoner was another one like that. That was something that I had wrote down. I think the last thing I wrote down was a game that was, I think, in their little pre-show, but it was Pinball VR. What I liked about it was that it was basically a mixed reality thing where you can basically turn your room into a virtual arcade and then walk up to different pinball machines and then just play them. I thought that was really neat and something that I would consider, seeing that I already have the headsets and it's just a matter of getting the game. And I was looking for an excuse to, get into some VR titles. But the idea, like the overall idea of literally creating not a vending machine, but creating a arcade basically in your room or whatever room you're occupying, that just looked dope to me. It was still just a bunch of different pinballs machines for a lot of different franchises and stuff. But yeah, like, because the way they was doing it was like, here's a couple vending machine, not vending, I keep saying vending machine, a couple of VR machines over here. Then they had it where you can set up some shelves and then just like put up stuff and posters and stuff to make it look like an actual arcade. And it's like, I haven't seen arcade since I was young, but you was able to do that and then just walk up to a pinball machine and just play it. The pinball machines had different franchises, and then also it was like stars or the main characters from the franchise would like appear and will stand next to the pinball machine and kind of like watch you play, I guess, which was a cool little thing. So that gave me an excuse to actually play the VR, at least put it on the wish list for VR to come back to, and I just thought that was dope. Yeah. I don't got anything else.
Oh, I will say for the show though, I think the timer down was really confusing. Like when I first looked at the recording for it, it was like show starts in 55 minutes and the recording was 52 minutes. And I was like, oh, how is this gonna go? When you get about halfway through, it was like it jumped from like 30 minutes to like 3 minutes. And even in the comments, they were like, oh, I guess it starts in 3 minutes? I don't understand what's happening. So, yeah, their timer just seemed to be all wacky.
It was also a little odd that they would say, like, here's a countdown, but they had something that they showed in the pre-show portion. And I think I missed
a lot of stuff during the Summer Games Fest stuff because I skip over the little timer. And they'll be showing like full-on pre-show stuff and some games there, and it's just like, well, yeah. I missed all of that because you told me the show starts in 40 minutes, so I'm jumping 40 minutes ahead.
Yeah. Shout out to the pinball game though. I just looked it up. I guess it's $9.99, so that's not bad at all. So the next time I dedicate time to actually picking up VR, I'll get that on the MetaQuest. So that'll be dope. Yeah, that's all I got really. I guess we will catch you next time. We'll have some more updates for the silliness of PlayStation's new decision to lock out a whole different player base, or I guess consumer. But yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the next episode, and it is morphin' time. All right, see you later. Peace.